Well, there you go, folks.
Man,
I got to tell you, that's one thing I like about Santa Claus versus the Easter Bunny coming up. You know, the Santa Claus, he just puts everything in one location. The bunny, you got to go looking for stuff, right? That's
you gotta go searching.
yeah. What kind of dude is he? Easter Bunny. Just put it in one place, Easter Bunny. No one wants to search for eggs.
Anyway,
Oh, man.
I guess before we get too far down the rabbit hole, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, hopefully fun and entertaining. We're definitely having a good time here. This last trading day in 2025, and this show, and nothing we say is a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Trade any of those things, you might lose money. And if you want people to tell you what to do, how to make money in the market, there's people you can hire for that. But
Don't do
I
it.
highly recommend you just learn to make your own decisions.
You can. You can do it. All of you have the talent and ability to do great things for yourself.
And that's what Jack and I are here to try and help you do is learn how to make some decisions on what to do, how to make some money in the market. I just rolled some puts out, rolled my 19s and my 20s and my 21s all out the next week on the 9th. The premium was just evaporating. And I decided to roll all those puts out. Now, calls, my 24s, they all closed out. So I'm not selling any calls right now. It's not the best plan to sell calls on a down day. I'm going to wait till we get some kind of update to sell more calls.
Yep. I agree totally. I loaded up a little more yesterday after the show on TSLL. Some 19 strike price puts. And I still got the 23 calls dangling out there, which I don't think I'll get called out of tomorrow. But one of my biggest payers this week is, knock on wood, going to be AVGO, that 335 put that I wrote, sold.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a nice one right
That
there,
looks like it's going to be a
unless
nice
we
one.
get some sort of chaos in the end of the week. But with this holiday week,
Yeah,
probably not doing anything.
yeah, not much going on. Not much going on. That's been a really good pair. I'm going to bump up that strike price on that put uh, when I roll it out. I need to get a little more AVGO. And hopefully you're right and I'm wrong, and this will pull way back down and I'll be able to pick it up 300 or less. But I don't want to take too much risk on having it get going without me on board.
Right now, this looks like it's going to do this before we do that. So,
Yeah, the 370 would be awesome. This stock, though, if you trade it, even one share of it, this thing can move faster than anything I've seen in a long time. I mean, it can really start moving in a matter of seconds. In the pre-market too, I've been knock on wood, buying it in the pre-market when it's down in the pre-market, and then selling it when it's popped up a little on the open. That's been pretty good. Uh, But I love how fast this thing can move, really super fast in a minute's time.
everything just seems real chilled out this week, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like they're
Still,
trying to hold it in here right for the end
yeah,
of the year.
exactly. Till they can pull the rug out. This has a really bad smell to it. I don't have any data to back up what I'm saying, but this looks like a massive rug pull coming up. There's no Santa Claus rally. There's no buying. Volume's drying up. Yeah, this is not a good sign. It should be ripping and roaring into the first, and it is not doing that.
And we're seeing this top out situation we've seen before, which usually, I mean, I've seen this several times over my almost 30 years of trading. And when we come into a new year like this, it tends to start out like that.
Mhm.
It just, we even saw that last year, like same kind of bull shirt.
Mhm. Exactly. And
And
then a
then
massive reset with Liberation Day that nobody saw coming. So that was like a double whammy. Um,
yeah, it's kind of funny you say nobody saw coming, but I did sit here on YouTube in mid-February and drew this drop almost exactly with a bounce in there,
Wow. Wow.
and the $5,000 or 5,000 price bottom there on S&P. So that is on my YouTube channel, like documented. You can go back and look at
Beautiful.
that
Beautiful call.
from February. So I drew it right on the chart, like right like that, and we hit right in that 5,000 area.
Nice.
So,
So what do you see going forward here in the first quarter?
you know, I think we're going to get a pullback. I just don't know how big of a pullback right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
My initial support is sitting right in here, and it's kind of like where we bottomed out just back at Thanksgiving. So we could return to that low, and then it kind of depends on how that shapes up, whether we open the door for going any lower or not. So I do see some downside correction potential. I just don't see a lot of enthusiasm. Now, next week, when everybody comes back from being on vacation for 2 weeks, it could change the whole tune of what's going on. But it just seems like we're lofty and we've been chopping in this zone since back here in October. And we just haven't made much progress
Yeah.
up or down. And we've got this floor that we've had coming all the way back to September and revisiting that one more time, possibly poking a little bit below it to really kind of freak everybody out just a little bit. That sets the stage and cleans it up for potentially pushing up into the 7,000s. So that's
Yep.
kind of what I
I'm ready.
see.
I'm ready for a rug pull in January. Yeah,
And
a lot of it that has gone sideways, I think, is going to fall. Bitcoin, stuff like that. Not looking good. If it hasn't gotten going by now, it's not going to get going. It's got more downside in it if it's been sideways, like the SPX right here.
Now you mentioned Bitcoin, and I saw some interesting analysis last night. I hadn't really thought of it this way. Um, it had to do with looking at gold, and it had to, we had to roll back in time here to look at this too. So right back in here in 2020, it was interesting. The point somebody was making. If you look at this chart on gold right here, and you were to ignore the prices that we see over here, this rip right here coming into August 2020 looks a lot like what we're doing right now on gold. I mean, in fact, it almost doubled. It was like 50% higher in price from right down here in 2019 up here, almost 50% higher. Now, during that same period of time, Bitcoin just kind of did nothing in 2020. And I can go pull this up and look at it. Coming back over here to 2020, jump down all the way back over here. Yeah, that August high, we did move up a little bit, but relative to Bitcoin moving, we didn't really go anywhere on Bitcoin. See, we just chopped, chop, 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 pulled up a little bit, and then took it right back. And so basically, we went nowhere while that big 50% move in gold was happening. We just kind of hung around this $10,000 area on Bitcoin.
Why do you
Now,
think there's no correlation?
well, this was the interesting point. Was somebody was saying that that move in gold front ran this move. Like gold moved first, and then when gold started chilling out, we saw rotation out of gold and into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin took its big run right there. And gold went back to sleep basically in the same time frame. If we look at this back, pull this back over, right here's the peak, and then gold went back to sleep while Bitcoin went on to run into the highs right there. So while gold was correcting, Bitcoin went and found its peak right there on that 2021 cycle. So the person was alleging that maybe if we see that same thing play out again, that gold is front running a potential pop in Bitcoin that might happen next year. If this big pop right here was front running gold, I mean gold front running Bitcoin, then we could see gold go back to sleep for next year. or at least pull back, some, while we see Bitcoin start ripping. And I thought that was interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way. I hadn't really looked at it that way. So it's definitely something to consider. If we start seeing gold pull back and we start seeing Bitcoin outperform, that might be playing out again 4 years later, 5 years later. So it
Crazy.
I'm always reading stuff, looking at stuff. It's not that I trust other people's analysis, but sometimes when people have a different theory than I've heard anybody else saying before, I'll dig into it and look at it and check it out and see if it has any merit. And I did more of that work than the person did. They just spouted a bunch of numbers and didn't really have any charts. And I'm sitting here pulling up the charts and comparing and looking at it. And we have this big upside on gold again, and it's from this consolidation down here. We went up 120%. If the last time, if a 50% up in gold yielded, a ridiculous almost 10x moving in Bitcoin, what would 120% potentially yield if this pulled back again? So I don't know. Look, there is potential that Bitcoin pulls out of this choppy, crappy sideways price action that we've had for, gosh, since October, really. 30% off the highs, which is just a normal correction in Bitcoin, really.
Yep.
Bitcoin does these 30, 40, 50% corrections all the time in its history. It seems like this one's nasty because it was from an all-time high, but that's not really all that different than what we did over here in 2021, where we made a high, we pulled back, and then went back to a new high.
Yeah,
We
that's
did
pretty
this.
great. That's a pretty great analysis.
Yeah, that was a 55% pullback right there in 2021. And then we went on to make a new all-time high. So this pullback's not even that bad comparatively, percent-wise. So I'm not counting it out
Very
yet.
nice.
I'm just staying cautious because crypto winter is a real thing. It has been in the past. I don't, nothing on the chart tells me that we're done yet. So I'm definitely keeping an eye out for potential that we could have downside. Could take a trip down to 75 and really bum out a lot of people. You laugh about that when I say, sufficiently bum everybody out. If we take a trip down the 70s, a lot of people are going to be bummed out on Bitcoin, and then that kind of frees it up to actually move because
Yep.
all the gamblers are shaking out. So
Exactly.
there you go.
Yep. I really lightened up on IBIT. I've got no more cryptocurrency at all.
Yeah, I have 100 shares left, and I keep selling it. I think I just closed out my 5250 call for this Friday, but it's not really moving. It's just sitting here, consolidating, consolidating, consolidating. So I would love to see a pop take hold into the new year. We do have lots of levels of resistance up here to get through, but it also could take another trip down to the lows and back down in here, 30s. That's a very real possibility also. So I have no
I,
crystal ball, just a bag of unicorn dust.
yeah,
Sprinkle it where I can, but I make the best guess I can.
yeah, good ones. So I got a new trade I put on yesterday after the show. ASTS.
Ah, yeah, ASTS.
Do you know this one?
Oh yeah, it's a competitor of Rocket Lab kind of, and a lot of hype here. It has my pattern for going on up to 114.
I sold the 69 strike price put for 50 cents.
Okay.
I'm going to do a little bit more of this.
Yeah, this one should be good for a pop up here. I mean, it's got the pattern. You can see last time it bounced, last time before that bounced. I mean, it has a tenant, it has a history of doing a trend, a pullback, a continuation, a pullback. What do you expect next? Continuation.
You gotta love this pattern, man.
It's my pattern. I love it for sure. And
Are you in this one?
I am not because I'm in Rocket Lab. I actually have a call spread on Rocket Lab.
I
Same
like the way
pattern,
this one
same
looks.
bounce. right there. This one's actually scraping my target. I was hoping for a little bit more. I trying to, being a little bit greedy, wanted just a little bit more scratch on that one. Didn't do puts, didn't sell puts, didn't take shares this time. I just did a call spread when I actually did it aggressively down here when I saw the bounce coming. I did a bought a 70. I guess bought a 70 up here, sold an 80 right up here, and I was trying to make at least three times my money. I got to two times my money, didn't close it. Now it pulled back just a little bit. But I was trying to get three times my money, and I guess the max the spread's worth is like five times my money, five times my money. But I guess we'll see. We'll
Have
see.
these guys what's the revenue looking like here? I forgot. I've given up on this thing since it hit 12.
Yeah, barely anything. 155 million.
Well, it's
They do have
something.
some. I mean, it's some, but it's you know, when you look at their earnings, it's not none, negative earnings and 67 years of their current sales to justify the price. So they got some growth. They're priced like a growth company, but they're just getting rockets off the ground. They're getting, stuff deployed. They're supposed to be launching a global communications satellite system for Mars and shipping that over to Mars so that when we send stuff to Mars that we'll actually have some communications. So they're supposed to be deploying
Yeah.
that.
What do they call that?
And
Low level? That's the same thing ASTS is doing.
yeah, ASTS. So, same same kind of industry, same sort of stuff. I think we're going to see, to me, this industry and space robotics is going to be hot for the next. I don't know if it'll be hot in 2026 or hot in 2027, but I see it as an up and comer.
Oh yeah. Man, probably the biggest market out there yet, space and robotics put together.
I mean, you see, these guys priced to sales 1,100 years to justify the current share price.
Yeah,
And
it's always fascinating when you can pull out a metric, or anybody can pull out one metric that looks ridiculous. Yet the market has priced it like that.
yeah,
That's weird, right? It doesn't make sense, which is why I always tell people don't expect any of this to make sense because it doesn't.
yeah. I mean, like, think about that. 1,100 years of what they currently do to justify the share price. I mean, that's longer than United States has been around by like five times. So it, it just, doesn't even make sense at all. But hey, that's what the market's willing to price it at right now. And it has a price pattern for going even higher. So they're priced like a growth company. It's just, where are they gonna bring the money in? Not sure yet. Time's gonna tell. So is this like bottom basement getting in while it's a penny? Gonna make, millions of dollars out of that? I'm not so sure on this one right now. Um, has a much higher potential to pull back. Anything with a price to sales over 30 has a very high potential to pull back if we get any kind of uh, oopsie in the market. Any kind of pullback, any kind of, as Jack was saying, he kind of expects the year to start out a little bit on the rocky side.
Mm-hmm.
We could see a drastic repricing of some of these high flyer, high price to sales ratio stocks.
Wow, Maggie had a killer in ASTS, bought it for 11 and sold it at 92.
Yeah, great work. Awesome.
Yeah, I,
I took some patience and discipline and time in hands because that buying it back at 11 was all the way back here in 24, and you had to hold on for a lot of pullbacks and a lot of chop to get that 92.
good trade.
Great work. Always love seeing people make money.
I do too. Yep. My little nephew's making money on Fermi. I don't want him to get too far ahead of himself. Uh, Found out yesterday that this is a REIT, like it says it is, and they are going to pay out 92.5% of the revenue to shareholders, but they're not going to do any of it paying out. No dividend will be declared until it's fully operational. And there's
Yeah.
nothing in it now. So this is going to trade like a regular stock, not a REIT. That was what I was worried about because it'll just die out if it's a REIT. price action wise, there will be no good price action if it's a REIT. But until then, this thing may get jiggy, and I'm going to be along for the ride.
That'd be interesting because I'm not sure how they pass the tax regulations to operate without paying it out until they have
I
it all
know,
built out.
I
Like
know.
I'm
I've not seen that before. Usually like when a REIT goes public or whatever, they've already got the infrastructure, they've already got the real estate. They're already charging the client, the tenant, for the rent, whether it's a triple net lease or not. That's a great business. But there's no growth in it because they got to issue more shares to buy more property. And
right. You can't use any of the profit to
no,
expand the business.
they're paying out 92.5% of all the money. So there's nothing left for them to expand the business unless they sell more shares, which you're better off owning a bond at that point. But I think this thing's going to have a little action until the picture gets clear because it's pretty cloudy right now.
Well, right now the cloudy has definitely beat this thing down into the dirt here.
Hmm.
You know, at $8, you could afford to pick up a couple shares and just forget about it for a little while. So I'm literally talking a couple shares, not like, I'm not talking like thousands of shares. When I say a couple, I would literally mean a couple. I
Yeah.
buy like 2 shares all the time of stuff just to see.
Just to
So
have it. Yeah. No, this one also, it's on the hard to borrow list. So I bought a little piece to see if I'm going to get paid on that part of it. If it jumps up here again, there should be some more short selling, but doesn't seem to be much now. Lawsuits are all over the place. All kind of law firms in Texas are suing them
yeah.
for fraud and everything else you can mention, saying that the whole prospectus was just garbage. But
Well, they were
Rick
supposed to
Perry,
have
he ain't going down without a fight. It's Rick Perry and a whole lot of these other top dogs. They're gonna have a hard time taking him down.
and I see a question in the chat. So do you think that IPO coming out in 2026 would be good opportunities? Which that IPO? That is not very specific. And
Wow, we got so many good ones. It's funny you should say that. I was just looking at this. Let me see if I could find it.
there's a lot of potential. I mean, you have SpaceX potential for 2026, but I don't know that that's opportunity for traders. I think it unlocks a lot of capital for the investors that are already in it to be able to redeploy that to new opportunities. I think it may be a cascade effect into other things more than it is an opportunity specifically for SpaceX to make a lot of money for people, at least in the short term. You
Well,
know, longer,
he's gonna use that SpaceX to fill in a gap he has in all of his other tech.
eh,
And I think that's it. The trick is at a $1.5 trillion valuation for the IPO. That's going to be a little tough to have it blast off, so to speak. But it's going to create a great opportunity in the options market. It's going to create a great opportunity in other space stocks. But in addition to that, we got some real hot stuff coming up. OpenAI, possible have its debut in 2026 as an IPO. Um, Anthropic, another one, unbelievable. That could be coming 2026. Databricks probably will be coming in 2026. They've postponed that quite a bit. And Stripe
yeah, Stripe's have been
also.
a hot one for a while. I actually got invited to be a private equity investor in Stripe, but
Did you do it?
no, I didn't do it. I just, drug my feet.
Yeah. I attempted to do it 3 or 4 times, but every time they keep raising the valuation so much, Stripe has been in the pre-IPO stage for years.
Yeah.
Same thing with Databricks. They've been in it. They've been deferring their IPO for years. But when you see these kind of IPOs and these kind of valuations, it just tells you the market is strong, because in a weak market, uh, Wall Street doesn't have any new companies to bring public. There's no demand. But in a strong market, and money's flowing like water right now, these valuations are beginning with a T all the time instead of a B. And it shocks me. But we'll really see how these prices are planned, how well they're planned relative to how the IPO opens compared to its IPO price.
Well, one of the
Some
things
of
you have
it,
to,
I mean,
one of the things you have to keep in mind is that 95% of the stuff that IPOs starts off in a correction and actually makes a low somewhat lower than the IPO, just like Fly here.
Hmm.
You know,
I call them my FIPOs, my failed IPOs. We got
as
Fly, Fig, Chime,
95% of stuff starts out
Oracle.
bearish. So, even though it seems like it's a high flyer, it could go positive even for a few weeks and then come back to the bottom like we saw Circle do.
Especially the ones that you really don't know what it is. Like this Medline went public recently, and it's a very clear business what Medline does. It doesn't have the potential to go ripping three times higher than an IPO price. But SpaceX is the very definition of something you can't wrap your mind around in terms of revenue, business model. It's insane. I mean, launching rockets from space, even just wow. So, what's that worth, right? To younger investors who don't care about valuations, they're just going to buy it because it's SpaceX.
Yeah. Well, think
Uh,
about this too. It's like SpaceX this year in 2025, just 2025, launched more rockets than the Space Shuttle program, the Gemini program, and the Apollo program all put together.
Dang, SpaceX did?
Yeah. Like in
Wow.
the entire life of launching the Space Shuttle, launching Gemini, and launching Apollo, all the rockets that got launched for all those programs, just in 2025, SpaceX launched more rockets than all of those.
Wow. I did not know that. Well, that's always my issue with rockets. I remember when I was at Dean Witter. Was that your trade or my trade?
I had to be, I heard it ding on my headphones. I don't think it was mine.
Oh, that
So,
was me. Um, and Morton Salt, the space shuttle blew up. I think it was 85, 1985, and Morton Salt just tanked. And ever since then, with me and rocket companies, it's like, was this thing going to explode in the air or failure to launch, right? Because when that happens, man, people went crazy. So yeah, we'll see.
yeah, we'll
The old
see.
good old
So,
space shuttle. Yeah. Oh, was that 85? I'm surprised you don't have that fact in your
and I
memory.
watched it on TV. It was either 84, 85. Uh, I, I was a young dude back then. That's right when I started trading. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's always it. Is the rocket going to blow up or
A
disappear?
Challenger.
Yep. That's what
It's,
it was, the Challenger. Yeah.
that was 86. It's like
86?
January 86.
Wow. And I don't know what it was. Morton Salt had a Morton or whatever it was had a problem. I don't know if they were what it was, what the connection was.
Yeah, I was in the library at school watching that on TV when it and the teachers were just like they didn't even know what to do. They like
Yeah.
didn't know like we're sitting there watching the thing explode on TV and they're like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
I remember watching it from Dean Witter, yeah, and watching some stocks just get bludgeoned. But and it was totally unexpected. Everything looked safe and good to go.
Yeah. Unfortunate tragedy.
Hmm.
But so SpaceX launched more than all the shuttle, every time we sent a shuttle to the up there, SpaceX launched more rockets this year than all of those. Plus Gemini, plus Apollo, plus I was just like, man, it's just hard to wrap your head around thinking about that. Like that they're able to perform at that high level, get that many rockets up there.
It really is. It really is. They know what they're doing. And so that's the potential you can't price, right? What do you see the valuation on that? It'll be 1,000 years till they grow into their sales.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to, one way to get a piece right now, you could buy a chunk of this. It's a public-private crossover. They hold some SpaceX equity. If that equity goes up a lot, this one could see some upside. So that's potential. Or you
Yep.
could just wait for the IPO. So,
Yep. There's going to be a lot more public-private crossover, but that's kind of a dangerous game because you
it,
never know if it's going to go public. A lot of them don't, even though they want to. And most of them don't make it, and even the ones that do, that always doesn't pan out the stock price. So just be careful.
well, private equity is always hard too because it's opaque. Like you can't go on an investor relations page. You can't go look at Edgar filings. You can't, they don't have to tell anything, and they don't have to ever give you an update. So it's very opaque, and difficult unless you have a lot of money in it. And sometimes even if you do have a lot of money in it, very difficult to get anybody to tell you anything about it. So,
Yeah, and the ones that are going to lie.
and it's kind of like that old adage, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, the lawyers will they'll tell you anything you want to hear. Uh, but the delay, it didn't used to take that long to get a company public. Right now, years and years and years, and they just keep raising the valuation, and that's good for the early investors, but it just makes the price exorbitant for the later investors, and especially the IPO guys, which they're the ones that are providing the liquidity with the IPO. They're providing liquidity to the old insiders.
but you got people like Elon too that have learned from having a few IPOs go through that, you know, sometimes it's better to wait and get all your ducks in a row so that you don't get screwed on some of these like investor lawsuits and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what Databricks has been doing. He had an article out, that guy, the other day, and didn't really explain why he's been waiting years to go public, but love to see it happen in 2026. Those stocks, wow, that's really going to be a great infusion of cash and enthusiasm and technology. And I'd love to see 2026 a banner year for IPOs.
Yeah.
Anthropic, too, OpenAI. Wow, who knows what could happen with those?
Yeah. Check out that message in the chat there. That's a pretty good
Oh,
one.
yeah, that is a good one. I'll explain a little bit, Andrew.
And what'd you do?
What did you did?
See if I can get it to pop up here for everybody to look at.
Doug C, you don't have to worry about the 25,000 or the day trading rule.
There you go. Seriously, by listening to you guys, I've almost doubled my account in December. Took a 38,000, made it in 73,000. Good work, Andrew. That was you,
Oh,
man. That's not us. That's you. So
thank
great work.
yourself. You know, Andrew, you're an action taker. So you got to, it's all thanks to you. You learned and you applied it. Whether you got an idea here or not, you took responsibility for it. You put it into work and you went out and got that money.
That was that's real strong. Great work. And right now I'm not starting a bunch of new positions. So one reason we're not sitting here talking about a bunch of new stuff today, I'm just kind of like with this low volume that we've got going on this week, and really it's been the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
I'm just not chasing a bunch of new stuff right
me
now.
neither. It's funny. The only new one I put on was ASTS. More of the same, more in fly and more in TSLL, which I still love. But I'm a little wary of this price action. You know, it's it just smells bad to me. I don't have any data to back it up other than looking at it for 4,500 years. But it looks like it's really softer than it might be.
Well, it's kind of like you go see the medical doctor. He comes in, looks at you, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, this doesn't look too good." And it's like he didn't do any tests. He didn't do anything. Didn't feel on you, but he's seen a thing or two. So he kind of gets that
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
So I look at it, that kind of that way too, Jack. You've been around more than a day or two, seen more than a thing or two, and for you to sit here and go. I'm not so sure this is, I mean, it really speaks volumes to what's going on.
It's
So,
like farmers insurance. You know, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. I could pick when to short a stock, and I can tell you when the market's it's tired. It's what this is. It's just tired. Um, so that's what I'm thinking, and it's setting us up for a nice little rug pull.
yeah, I saw this one up higher too. I sit here scrolling through. Lots of people said lots of stuff today. So I'm just sitting here trying to catch up a little bit and let me post this in there and try to pop it up. Looks like Jacob Sharp had a comment too. He wanted to thank us both, focusing on credit trades instead of other things he was focused on. And he's got $15,000 profit just doing the NASDAQ type trades
Wow,
right there.
I love it, man. I love it. You guys and gals, you always impress me. I'm very impressed by the people that show up. We got a lot of newbies, and I love that. I love helping them. You can give them a lot more knowledge when they're newer, but I also love helping people sharpen their sword, so to speak, where they already got a little money in there, they're playing it good, and they're making a great return. To double an account in a few months, that's amazing, man. And what Jacob's doing too. That's it's been phenomenal, phenomenal
Thanks,
to
man.
hear.
Patience, discipline, effort. I've been going. Yeah, he's been going a little more aggressive. I actually know Jacob in real life too, and he's definitely been going a little more aggressive than I was talking about the beer money trade, where you just go after a small premium every afternoon. He's been going a little more aggressive, chasing some of the stuff, but he really started focusing on getting credit on trades and selling options instead of trying to pick directional trades.
That
And it's
right there, what you said right there, that was the single biggest change for me in my life. What you just said right there. And I used to be 100% and only 100% directional trades and lots of them. But when I flipped to the sell side on options, that changed everything for me. It was easier, more profitable, way less stressful.
it gives you a lot more time to just kind of like
Mhm.
let it work out in your favor.
Fish. I wasn't doing any fishing when I was in that windowless office doing directional trades and day trades all day. That was hard. But doing the premium selling was awesome.
Yep, the boss is here.
Uh-oh. She got your lunch outside. Did you lock her out?
Yeah,
Is
she
she
she's
out
at
knocking on
home.
the door?
She's at home.
Oh. She's out front. Jeffrey.
Yeah,
That's funny.
she stays at home. I'm here at my office. I actually have an office across town, so
Oh, nice.
she hangs
Hanging
out
out
with
with
her.
the cats.
Yeah, she hangs out with her cats.
How many cats?
Depends, that's a loaded question, Jack.
Is it spring? It's gonna be a lot more kittens. Two and a half. Okay, cool.
Two and a half in our house, and then there's a whole collection of them in our daughter's house next door.
There
So
you go. Yeah, my sister has cats, and she's a veterinarian, so she's gonna end up with cats. But and our neighbor has two really cool cats.
yeah, our veterinarian lives in the neighborhood right behind us. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I got a funny cat story, but I can't tell it right now. It's
get us canceled.
I would. It's I don't know. It's not that bad. I'll launch it and we'll see how it's set. So I'm over at my buddy's house and I gotta see if Mrs. Jack hears the story she's gonna. Can I tell it? I can't tell it. Let's just say I had my it was flip flops and I had my flip flop off and the cat was laying on the bar right under me and I was rubbing the cat back and forth with my foot. And all of a sudden he jumped up and bit my foot. I think I might have touched something I shouldn't have touched with my big toe and he bit me. But he was loving it. Petting him with my foot right back
Oh
and
gosh.
forth on his belly. He loved it.
I'm not gonna be able to catch my breath here. Anyway, so Nasdaq, this is big tech. This has been the leader of the market going higher. This is a downtrend. We peaked out back here in October, right before Halloween. This is a downtrend, and this is one of probably the biggest reason that concerns me going into the new year. We just back tested the downtrend from the bottom, just like we did here earlier in December, and turned down.
No, is this part the watermelon seed squeeze?
No, this is just looking at daily charts. Now for the watermelon seed squeeze, I roll in late in the afternoon, and I dive down here on a 30-minute chart. I roll in at like 1:30 in the afternoon. Now the average move from 1:30 to 4 is like half a point higher on something that moves hundreds of points a day. So we're talking about decimal points the average move. So what I do is I come in 130, try to get down 2, 3, 400 points below current price and sell a put spread because on the average, price just sits still from 130 to 4.
Now, this is your beer money trade, folks.
Yeah, this is the beer money trade. This is, and I'm looking to just pick up like 20, 30, 40 bucks a contract. But I have to risk like 50 bucks. I would sell it naked if I could, but the problem with that, they want like $500,000 per contract to sell them naked.
Yeah, too much collateral.
Even in a margin account, they want like $500,000 per contract. So I got to do something to offset that. And what I do is I go down 50 strikes and buy another position. So what this looks like, let me grab the option chain and pull it over. What this looks like, you would roll in here, 0 day. I actually have a position open right now. Right now we're hanging out 25, 380-ish, 375-ish. You roll down in here. These lines represent one standard deviation based on option prices. So right now, one standard deviation, price is going to stay within these two blue lines 60, roughly 66% of the time from now to the close. And you can also come in here, our standard way to look at how big the move is from now to the close, 70 points. Come down here, that's one standard deviation. 70 points, basically. If you didn't know this trick, you do a at the money strangle, sell the call, sell the put. That gives you a price at the money. That's how much the market makers are setting the option prices for to account for that size move between right now and the expiration. The expiration on this is the bell at 4 o'clock. There's no extra time, no extra innings. So that's one standard deviation. Coming down 2 standard deviations, and I like to play 3 standard deviations down if I can. And funny enough, when you come down here, somewhere down around $2 on a typical day. Today, maybe that's the right place, maybe it's not. I actually have one open already, hanging out down there. But if you roll in here, right now it's paying 68 cents for this put spread right now. It is not 130. It is only 12.15. If you did this right now, you're actually buying 2% more risk in the market than if you wait till 130. It's crazy. The move from noon to 130 Eastern is usually 2%. Do the math on that. That's upwards of 500 points on NASDAQ at these prices.
I tell you though, the last 15 minutes today is going to be a real ride.
Yeah,
Yeah, amateurs control the open and professionals control the close.
got to get those year-end prices
Got to
locked
get the
in.
year-end prices. You're going to see some tax loss selling, right? They're going to get that off the books. All kind of stuff is going to happen in the last 15 minutes. Options expiration, going to be
So anyway,
wild.
so back to this. This one right now has greater than 99.5% chance to work out. That POP right there, that's percentage of profit, percent likely profit, 99, greater than 99.5. It won't resolve higher than that. Like it won't calculate 99.9 or anything like that. But that's basically what, if you do the math on 3 standard deviations, comes out to 99.7. So basically that's 3 standard deviations away from current price with that spread right there. And that means 1 out of every 333 days, you would likely get in trouble if you played that far away from price. Now, I'm not saying that this calculation is accurate. If you go pull it up on other platforms like Robinhood Legend, you may get a different number. But, it's, just kind of a way to do this sort of thing right there. And I like to roll in, like I said, 130, pick up like 40 bucks on average, 220s, risk 5,000. I give the analogy that this is like picking up 20s in the street. I like to look both ways. I like to check the price action. I like to, get far enough away from price, make sure there's no cars coming down the street. And then it's going to take me 2 hours, 2.5 hours to walk out there, pick up that 20 and get back to safe. That's basically how long it takes to walk out there, pick it up and get back. Could a car come? Absolutely. Anytime you're in the street, anything can happen and you could get hit by a car. And so I put the odds in my favor as much as I can, but it's not for everybody.
The car would
Yeah.
be the price, and
Yeah.
you could see the price coming.
Yeah. You can see that price coming. You can see it coming down towards you. And you could get out for, a smaller loss if you wanted to. You don't have to let it go all the way in the money. And in fact,
Right.
for it to come through this strike, it would be almost a 4 standard deviation move. So really, it's just 3 standard deviations to even come touch you. It's almost 4 standard deviations, which is like 99.99% likely to not go all the way through both strikes. So it makes it even less likely you would take a full loss. Just, one out of every 333 days that maybe a car comes your way and you have to do something. And this is what a lot of
People's
people don't understand is that, they hear that 3 standard deviations and think that's a full loss. But your full loss only occurs, less than 4 standard deviations. If you were naive and didn't even look at it again, you just put it on and walked away. And a lot of people say, well, you can't make any money doing this. You can't make any money picking up that kind of money each day. I want to show you something, Jack. This is where it gets really crazy. If this will load. Come on. Load her up. Not going to do it, huh? I love it.
if you have 5,000 other windows open, it might.
You come on now. I tell you what, man.
Load, dog, load.
I'm gonna have to load it on another computer just to get it to load. These reports right here are interesting. And let me see if it'll load on another tab, another browser. Pop one up real quick. Log in. Let's see. Reports.
Now, can you stay up till midnight?
Can I stay up to midnight? I
Yeah.
don't know. Ask the boss. I'll probably be up to midnight.
Yeah.
There it goes. Now it's loading. Symbols. It's just being super slow, I guess. 900 people on messing with it, I guess. Yeah, maybe this thing will load in a second. So what's interesting is I have almost more money booked out on NASDAQ between Halloween and right now that I made on that crazy Rocket Lab trade that everybody wants to know how I made that big jump in the price chart. So um, it's just wild. Yeah, no data to show. So it's obviously KMFO's having problems today for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
We definitely got to write this down though and come back to it next week because this is really great stuff.
I've got to, let's see if PowerX Optimizer, I have the same trades logged in PowerX Optimizer. So let me see if I can load this up over there and show it off. All
Winning
right.
trades 76% of the time. That's good
Yeah, I mean,
stuff right there, brother. That
but
is
they count
really good
it's funny
stuff.
enough, they count the one leg a loss every time instead of it being combined together. And,
I know. They do that on my Schwab thing too, and people do credit spreads and they're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. They should just net it out, right?
I see, look at
Instead of
that right
showing the
there.
two. Yeah.
NASDAQ right there. IndieX,
Wow.
12,069 bucks versus the Rocket Lab trade where I made $12,535.
Now that Rocket Lab was like a one-off, and the NDX, that's $12,000 in 20s,
Yeah.
right?
This is like $20 trade,
Right.
40,
For
20,
12 grand.
$40 trades. I made
Yeah.
12 grand doing that. This was getting lucky one
One
time,
trade.
one trade.
So you see that, folks, that and the money he's made, the 12,000 in NDX at $20 at a time with perseverance and really working a strategy. Look at that. 20 bucks at a pop, almost 13 G's.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute
Look at that.
monster. Look at this.
It
My
has
year
been
coming up right there.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, people ask, do you do a bunch of trades? I just started tracking them in here in April. 750 trades I've done this year. Not even done yet. I still have some stuff to log in here, but 700 options trades, 46 stock trades, 2 dividends.
Do you have to put the dividend in manually or does it know?
Yeah, I did. I put that was the TSLL dividend that I got right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice big fat one. And that
Yeah.
wasn't even I'm not even tracking all my accounts. I'm just tracking uh these four accounts out of the 20 something accounts I trade.
Yeah.
So,
I don't have all of mine in there either.
the difference here is this is me putting the numbers in. So I can make errors and it doesn't flag them. This right here is 100% verified. Everything's verified, third party audited right there. And this is just one account.
Wow. Patrick is doing the same thing.
So you look at this year to date, there's the Rocket Lab trade. It's like, where's the NASDAQ trade? It's in here. It's all the way through here. That was Dollar Tree right there. Nice little pop. But that big money on NASDAQ is just sprinkled in here. Little gains, little gains, little gains every day.
Picking up 20s. I love it.
Wish the reports worked. It's
Yeah,
always
it'd be nice to see.
there it goes. There it goes. See right here? Rocket Lab. On here, Rocket Lab's 12,287 and NASDAQ's at 10,793. Hadn't booked, hadn't synced up the last two trades, I don't think. So that's about to cross right there. And there you go, like 100% win rate on all these tickers.
Love it.
Where's the losses? Right there. Those few things right there. And these are 12,000. These are like 600. So small losses compared to the gains. And this is what you like. This is how you consistently make money in the market. Right there. I
You're
don't let
taking,
things turn into losses.
you're not really making it, you're taking it.
Yeah. Selling credit every
Selling
day.
credit, you're taking money out of the market.
And look at that. Year to date, I crossed 51 grand. So that'll be the number to beat next year.
Nice. Now, if you had that same amount coming in every year in dividends, you'd be in a really good spot.
Well, I'm hoping to get that amount every month in dividends before I'm
Yeah.
done with
There
this.
you go. There you go. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to launch a platform or, teach people, tell people how to trade. I'm just out here showing everybody that you can do this. Like it's possible to sit here and do this and do it consistently and bring in income every single day.
And not take much risk. I think this has less risk than directional trading, in my opinion.
A lot of people, everybody's like, why don't you sell this as a thing? Like, why don't you sell this and teach people how to do it? Because most traders like you won't do this. It takes me sitting here showing it to you for weeks and months before you understand the power of this. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of discipline. It's very difficult for a lot of people to book $40 every day on a trade.
Discipline, persistence. It's what it takes. And when you got a system that works, you got to work the system. And that's what he's doing here. Not taking much risk. You don't see a lot of down drops. Most people's portfolio, when you look at it over the months, it's up, down, like a stock chart. This is pretty smooth growth curve.
Yeah, there's the drawdowns. You can see none of them are very big. And there's the profit, which has the drawdowns in it. They just don't show up because this is almost, it's like $51,000 up since April.
It's very cool, man.
A lot of people, their profit loss looks like this.
Yeah. Big win and then a massive loss. Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Or more down to even, not even much of a gain.
That's not consistent gains. That's not consistent trading.
That's not a system.
This is consistent trading. Nice little, catch a few little nice pops every now and then. And that's what getting the stock put to you. Like a lot of people when they're selling puts, they're afraid to get put the stock. That's what those two big pops were. Me getting put stock and it moving up.
The gift of the cash secured put.
So I sit here, I sell puts, credit, do the wheel. I do it the turbo wheel. I go after bullish trades using my technical pattern. That's my twist on the wheel. And then I also roll in and pick up 20s in the street with my beer money trade. Juice up the gains in this account. My goal for this account is to turn it into $50,000 a month in income, and then and that's from trading, and then work that into 50,000 a month in dividends, and then I
Hmm.
can quit and go do whatever I want to.
Wow. And you know the beautiful thing about that, folks, I love dividends like a fat kid loves cake. And the reason is because that's the lowest tax rate you're going to get on a qualified dividend, either 15% or 20%. That's the lowest compared to 37%. Yeah, I'll take that all day long. I love that combination. That's exactly what I'm doing. Living off premium and reinvesting dividends right now.
And everybody wants to, it's kind of funny. Everybody's like, do a session on the NASDAQ trade. I've done several sessions on here, and I've got it on YouTube even, the trade, and I will pull up a link to the video and throw it in the chat. But I've covered it ad nauseum, and we keep finding new people that haven't watched it, haven't seen it. It's okay. I understand new people happen across this all the time. I'll throw this in the chat though. You can go watch it. I explain the whole thing. It's not very difficult. It's just playing statistics, and but you got to be careful. You can lose. You can lose 5,000. Like $5,000 is at risk. Like if you let the car come and hit you, you can be in the hospital. You can liquidate your account. So
Be
you got to
paying
be careful.
attention. And people say, why would you risk 5,000 to pick up 20? And they only look at it through two lenses, risk and reward. But the real magic there is probability because that's what allows you to do it all the time, almost
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, the risk to me is not necessarily just the dollars that I have down on the table. It's the likelihood that I'm going to lose those dollars on the
Exactly.
table.
Probability. Yeah. That's a huge thing with me. When I do the credit spreads, it's all about picking strikes that, it's possible, but it's not probable that the stock will drop down to that strike.
And we can see right now, this has already dropped from 68 cents a minute ago down to 58 cents. So that was already, 12% gain right there, roughly. So it's interesting.
Very much so.
Yeah.
This
And
is interesting. The $20 beer money trade is interesting. Also, this other little cash bot trade's interesting.
yeah, so, I have a little more aggressive. Like I said, a lot of people won't pay for risking $5,000 to make 20, but I have a different trade, different credit spread trade automatically comes out. It's a much more frequent trade, a couple times, up to 3 or 4 times a day sometimes. And it has a different risk to reward. In fact, over 333 trades that we've had this year, it's had an 84% win rate,
Nice.
5% average return, winners and losers combined. So it's a higher pay rate. That beer money trade is like less than 1%, right? But you do it every day. This one has a 5%, and you can do it every day. This is with winners and losers combined. And the average hold time, less than 48 hours. Every trade shown targets roughly $250 on income based on a $1,000 risk, unless otherwise stated. You can risk more, you can risk less, you can risk as little as $100. I can't guarantee any specific future results, though. There's always a high degree of risk involved in all trading. You can see the terms and conditions on the prosperitypub.com homepage if you want more information. I'm going to give you a New Year's special deal on this if you stick around to the end, right here. One-time special offer for New Year's. So let's be honest, though, there are losers in trading, and this system, it gets chopped up when the market gets really choppy. So you can take some losses, a couple in a row. While it has a nice big long streak of wins when the market's trending, when we go into some choppy stuff, we get big drops. It gets chopped up a little bit. Hey, everybody, I'm Jeffrey Turnmeyer. I want to thank you for being here today. I'm going to try to make this worth your while, try to give you a special deal right here on this last trading day in 2025. Today, we're going to see a breakthrough that could change the way you look at trading forever. It's a new way to target what I call high frequency income. And I'm talking about placing a high probability trade when the signal fires off, and sometimes watching it close out as soon as the close, just a few hours later, targeting right around $250 on each and every trade. Now, unlike most income strategies that take days or weeks to play out, this one isn't a once in the blue moon type of opportunity, not a once a week, not even a once a day. Thanks to a fully automated trading engine that I'm going to show in a minute, we get a shot to target up to 3 times per day, sometimes even more. Like Monday, September 15th, most investors not making a dime on a flat day like this, just chop, failing to break out, failing to break down. But you could have taken a trade right here, cash in not once, not twice, but 3 separate times on that day while we went sideways right there, with a shot at making money like 214 bucks on the first one, 231 on the second one, and even 300 bucks on the third one. Altogether, about 750 bucks in high frequency income, and that's just from one day of alerts. Imagine how this might stack up after an entire week. Now, before you start guessing on the opportunity, let me assure you, this has nothing to do with risky directional type trading where you're frantically trying to guess which way the market might go. You don't have to be glued to your screen babysitting these trades. And it's not another one of those too good to be true gimmicks promising outrageous returns. What today's opportunity is about, though, is targeting reasonable returns in a short amount of time and doing that over and over and over. Because as you're going to see here in a minute, when we stack these up, win after win, while limiting the losses, really big good things can happen to your account. For example, what would have happened in the beginning of July? Let's say you took $1,000, risked it on each trade. You can go with more, you can go with less. Monday, July 7th, $1,000 risk, 141 bucks right there. Tuesday, $1,000 risk on each of these, 535 bucks. Another $1,000 risk on that one, 157 bucks. Another $1,000 risk on that one, 142 bucks. And another $1,000 risk on each one of those is 650 bucks right there. All in all, about 1,600 bucks in high frequency income during that week without a single loss. While 1,600 bucks might be big money for you, maybe it's not. It's probably not big money, regardless where you are, because you're not buying a Lambo, you're hardly buying any kind of vacation. You can hardly do a Airbnb with that. Um, Certainly can't buy a car, can't buy a house. So 1,600 bucks, that's probably not going to change everything in your life, right? But it is extra cash that could go toward buying a house or could go toward buying a car or groceries or just savings accounts, all from clicking a few buttons and watching the positions close out automatically. Now, of course, I want to remind you, not every trade's a winner. This was a good week. In fact, losers are part of the game. So never go all in on the next trade. That's a recipe for disaster. But here's what takes these high frequency income opportunities up a notch or two. You see, thanks to a timed advantage buried in the options market, these income opportunities are specifically designed to pay in all sorts of market scenarios, even when price is falling below the entry point a little bit, meaning the market can go up, stay flat and choppy, or even go slightly against us, and we can still pull it out for the win at the end of the day, allowing us to target trades with an incredibly high hit rate while getting maximum bang for the buck. For example, take a look at what would have happened the next week in July. Trump's tariffs were back in the news in July, threatening the tariff blitz on 14 countries. And yet again, you could have tuned all that noise out, just fired up the trades when they set up. And let's say you put $2,000 on these, right? Last week we got 100% win rate, $1,000 risk on each one. Let's dial it up a little bit. Let's put $2,000 at risk on each one. Let's see how we would have fared. So Monday, $2,000 risk on that one, 794 bucks. Tuesday, no trade. It was kind of a pop and drop type of day with no trade. Wednesday, 2 more alerts, $2,000 into each one of those, 996 payout. Thursday, market was rallying, 2,000 more in each one of those, 858 bucks. Friday, the market sold off. Oh, that's another pop and drop day. Not good though, right? Nope, we pulled it out. Another $2,000 risk for 590 bucks. Didn't matter one bit. Altogether, another 3,200 bucks, risking $2,000 on each trade. And it could have been in your bank automatically. Now, $3,000 in the bank, that might be a little more massive for you. Other people, it's probably a drop in the bucket. Regardless where you stand, it's probably enough to take the kids or grandkids out to McDonald's. Either way, it's a needle moving amount of cash, right, for taking the kids to McDonald's, all while limiting that downside risk. So if you're new and maybe you're looking for a new way to trade something like this, one that doesn't require a ton of effort, but showing the power to pay almost every day, look no further. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through how these high frequency income opportunities work. This new trading tool I built that automatically finds the entries and exits and gives them to you automatically. The timed advantage that's built into the trade, plus invite you to take the newest trades alongside me, targeting right around 250 bucks when we risk $1,000. Now, if you haven't traded with me before, my name is Jeffrey Turnmeyer. You might know me as a trader who gets lucky on big bold predictions. Like back in 2022, when the Fed was raising rates at the fastest pace in history, the market was falling fast. I put my reputation on the line and called the exact bottom just days before it actually bottomed out, September 30th. And just this year, I was talking about this earlier in the session here. On February 28th, I was on YouTube and pointed out the top right here. I drew it right on the chart right there. How we were going to drop. We are going to have a little bounce and come down to that $5,000 level right there. And as you all know, that's exactly what happened. We kind of moved down, we got a little bounce and a flush down to 5,000 right there. That made the worst flash crash since COVID. In fact, it was a bigger flash crash than COVID, 100 points bigger, top to bottom on S&P. And my big bold predictions aren't the only thing that have helped me rack up over $1 million in verified trading profits. I have utilized multiple trading strategies that absolutely crush it, like my 100% win rate strategy that has 86 trades in a row, 100% win rate right there. That one is over 3 years, though. Doesn't fire off very often. How about my automated trading algorithm? This is a day trade algorithm. These trades last about an hour on average, 6.3 wins a day, about a 74% win rate. Kind of blended those two together to come up with the cash bot. It's these strategies, along with a few others, that have helped many top traders hit major milestones in their accounts. Like Donald right here, started 10,000 bucks in an account, and he's up over 400%. Denise here took 400 bucks, turned it into 8,000 bucks in 4 months of hard work. Ed here took over 700 Apollo trades last year in 2024, up over $100,000 for the first time ever. Robert, right here, nearly doubling a small account. Jerry here having a $30,000 day. That was a good job, Jerry. And what might be one of the best ones yet, my man David bought himself a Corvette. He was complaining because this year, yeah, this screenshot right here, he made 227%. I think that was year before last. This year in 2025, he was only up like 85%, and he was complaining that he was underperforming his benchmark. I was like, dude, 85% is a good year, no matter who you are. I was like, be proud of what you did. He was cracking me up. So great work, David. Now, of course, these aren't typical returns. It takes hard work. It takes patience. It takes discipline to get to these levels. And as great as these top stories are, they don't hold a candle to what we're going to show you here today. It's a new way to target high frequency income up to 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, all fully automatic. And as a matter of fact, all you have to do is take a few seconds to set up the trade when the alert fires off and close it out when it works out. It's all thanks to a brand new trading engine I call CashBot. Now, to set the stage, CashBot isn't a trading platform. It's not an indicator. It's not anything like you've ever used before. This is a high-frequency income engine designed to exploit a timed advantage in the options market and then pack up all the details of the trade with everything you need to know to trade on the go. So instead of sitting at your desk hunting for profitable setups, you could be hitting sets at the gym. Stop, place the trade real quick, and then right back to the next set. Or maybe you're out walking the dog. Take a pause for a second, get that trade locked in. Maybe you're just out there living life, doing whatever it is you love to do. These things can be there for you virtually wherever you are, like clockwork. For example, Monday, August 11th, CashBot would have hit 9:32 in the morning. You could have pushed a few buttons, gone about your day, and just 3 hours later, boom, 316 bucks in the account. The very next day, 10:50 a.m., this one fired off. Maybe you're catching up out to brunch, out with a friend, and just pulled it out, put that trade on, right back to lunch, and then later on, 235 bucks locked in. How about the next day? 2:45 late in the afternoon, spent about 2 minutes setting up the trade, and even though the market kind of closed flat that day, the next morning, 356 bucks right at the open. Beautiful. Between these last 3 back-to-back alerts right there, that's a total about 900 bucks over the course of 3 trading days. No timing exits, no staring at screens, just clear automatic signals sent straight to your cell phone, laptop, tablet, you name it. It's a way to take advantage of this timed advantage in the option market. And I'll touch on that in a second. In fact, it's the same strategy that I used to lock in this 86 wins in a row over the last 3 years with 100% win rate. Now, before I dive into all that, let me first start off by saying having a strategy that gets you in and out fast, regardless of market direction, is critical right now. You see, over the last few weeks, we've seen some seriously concerning economic data, like personal spending just taking a nosedive. Unemployment rate keeps ticking higher. And right now, stocks are the most overvalued they've ever been. And the last time we saw stocks at these levels, when it was so overvalued, the dot-com bubble. Well, do I have to remind you what came next? Multi-year bear market, 0% return for at least 8 years, and then we went into the great financial crisis, so another 6 or 8 years there. The time before that, this was before my trading time, but in the 70s, we had an economy very similar to today with stagflation and rising unemployment. And take a look at what the market action did. 3 major drops, 0% return for like 12 years. Now, I'm not trying to be a doomsday guy and tell you that you should sell out all your stocks, but there's legitimate reasons to be concerned about the return for the next decade or so. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I got a bag of unicorn dust. I sprinkle it on the market, but it only goes so far. Nobody has 100% certainty when it comes to the market. So here's what I do know. Nobody wants to see one of these happen and you sit in a sideways market for a decade. In fact, even if you're not down, while inflation eats away at the balance, it could just be rough, right? Costing your retirement dreams. I mean, it could be really rough. You could destroy retirement dreams. And that's why it's important you have CashBot running right now. Because not only does CashBot have the power to generate consistent returns, even during some market downturns, but beyond that, it can also quickly kick open the door to high frequency income that compounds all on its own, taking advantage of what could be one of the safest types of trades that I've ever used. One that's shown the power to win in all kinds of market scenarios. Like the research shows what happened in the third week of July, markets went up, CashBot cashed out, $298. Tuesday, 3 more trades, $549. Wednesday, another $197. Thursday, $235. Friday, another $175. And this is another weekend of July where we saw $1,400 in income. Now that's $1,400, and it could have gone toward groceries or mortgages or credit card balances or rainy day funds without having to make any withdrawals from a long-term portfolio. And as great as all this is, it can get even better because that's 7 trades out of the 31 winning signals that hit in July with one loser on the books down there. That's $6,000 in CashBot income if you had taken $1,000 on every trade. Somebody with twice as confident, using $2,000 on every trade, could have seen $12,000 in income if they took every CashBot trade, including the loser. That could have been enough to cover the average monthly expenses for an American right there and still have some money left over. Keep in mind, that's without needing to be locked into the screen all day either. Now, as a reminder, not all the trades work out. There are some losers. There was a loser in July. That said, these high frequency income opportunities have a high accuracy rate, and they're thanks to a little known phenomenon buried inside the option market. Now, when I say options, a lot of people think we're trying to pick directional, right? Hoping that the stock goes in our direction. And that's how a lot of people trade options. But there's a big problem trading options that way. You see, when Wall Street creates options, they sell them to people like you and I, and they bake in another factor that makes it impossible to consistently win when you go long options. And that's called time decay. The way time decay works is the longer you hold an option position, the more premium your position loses. So you can be totally right about the direction of a stock and still lose money on options, all because time decay works against you. Even worse, if the stock goes lower or stays flat and you bought calls, well, you could lose everything. Now, if you're not familiar with options, don't worry. You don't have to understand it all to take advantage of CashBot, but I do want to walk you through it because you might have a light bulb moment like I did when I went through it. You see, when Wall Street lists options and sells them to you and I, they want those options to expire worthless. They want to, think about it. The way you make money in the market, you buy low, sell high, right? Buy something low, sell high. So what Wall Street's doing is they're selling these options high and hoping that they never buy them back low. That's the beautiful thing, right? Always selling, never buying back. Beautiful. Always making the money. As a matter of fact, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange reported that 76% of all options that get created expire worthless. So 76% of the time they get that totally right. They sell those options, they expire worthless. Beautiful. Another financial report by Financial Post, who studied options extensively, found that 90% of all options buyers, think about this, that's 76% of all options that ever get created expire for zero. But 90% of all option buyers lose money on their trades by expiration, even if they're right about the underlying move. So it may not go to zero, but 90% of them lose money. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. Wall Street designed it this way because when you lose, they win. So they set us up for failure by jacking up those option prices with aggressive time decay baked in. That way, the wins are few and far between if you're buying those long options. It lets Wall Street keep most of that profit. The point here is that many investors lose money on options, and they aren't losing because they get it all wrong. It's because the options themselves have this factor rigged into them. However, as I'm going to show you, thanks to a special type of options trade, the same one that's the backbone of my undefeated income strategy with a 100% win rate, CashBot flips the script and makes that time decay work for us, allowing us the chance to get paid even when the market goes a little bit higher, a little bit lower, or sideways. For example, look at what happened back in August. Now, at the time, the market was digesting a hotter than expected inflation report, and the odds of the Fed rate cut were suddenly called into question. But none of that really mattered because on August 15th, Cashbot would have fired off 2:43 p.m. Now watch this. Over the next day, the market sputtered, failed to go higher, failed to go lower, just kind of went nowhere fast. Most people buying a short-dated call option, betting on a move higher, or a put option betting on a move lower, would have lost at least 50% due to time decay over this time period. But thanks to Cashbot firing off and picking off those options for us to take advantage of this move, we could have profited $250 in that same period of time. And I'm pretty sure everybody here would have loved it if I just handed you $250 from that one trade, especially with how bad inflation's been over the last few years, forcing retirees to unretire and go back to work while savings are dropping to record lows. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather click a few buttons than go sit at a desk and work for hours on end, especially when Cashbot does all the hard work for me and finds the trades, ones that can still pay even when the market goes nowhere like we just saw. You see, the secret to these high hit rate wins is all thanks to a special type of option trade. Now, instead of me telling you more about how it works, why don't I just show you on some charts? See, what you see right here is a daily chart of SPY. Let's say this is the entry. Regardless of how we trade, here's the entry right here. Let's say we took $1,000 and bought some call options right there. Now, to hit our $250 profit target, we would have needed a move like this. And because of the way time decay works, the longer we wait, the bigger the move we need to hit the $250 profit target. That's because time decay works against us, and it requires bigger and bigger moves to hit that profit target. Now, with Cashbot, we kind of flip that around and make the time decay work for us, where when we get in the trade, the biggest move we need is right immediately, and the longer we wait, the smaller move we need. Meaning, anytime price crosses the white line, the trade will close out automatically for our $250 profit target, turning what could be a loser because of time decay into what could be a winner because of time decay. Let's look again. Here's the entry, different day, different stock chart. This was been the entry right there. If you had bought daily call options, again, we needed a bigger and bigger move to get there, and despite price dropping and recovering, we never quite got there. But with time decay working for us with the Cashbot trade, we would have closed out right here when price recovered. Another winner. The very next day when the market dropped and didn't really ever recover, there's the entry. Those Cashbot trade worked out right there before the closing bell. You see, as long as the market doesn't completely collapse, you should win just about every time, unless we just get a big move down. And it's all thanks to the time decay sweet spot. It's a 48-hour window where you can stack the odds heavily in your favor. You really don't need to understand it all, but I'm going to show it to you here. I want you to understand how this kind of works in all market scenarios. See, this is a time decay chart right here. The extrinsic value of an option always goes towards zero as we get to the expiration day. And the closer we get to expiration, the faster this goes. This is a time decay curve, all right? We have some slow decay, we get some fast decay, and as I mentioned there just a second ago, as we get to expiration, that premium, that time decay, that extrinsic premium out of the moneyness of an option always goes to zero. That last 48 hours, it really starts jumping out the window exponentially. I call that a time decay sweet spot. This is when you can be totally right about a direction of a stock and totally wrong about making money on a call option because of the extreme time decay. Now, if you're buying options, like a lot of traders do, this is kind of your worst nightmare right here. This is working against you. But thanks to Cashbot selecting the options that work for us, we flip the script around, and instead of losing money while that time ticks away, we actually start profiting for it. And that's where we're able to win, even if the stock is going a little bit against us. Like the research shows, August 25th, the alert would have hit 10:16 a.m. Now, let's say somebody invested $1,000 when the alert hit. Now, gambling on daily call options, 100% loser. Never got there. But thanks to time decay working in our favor, Even though the market dipped, we were able to turn that into a winner right there. 281 bucks on that one. Watch it again the very next day. Cash bot 1:28 p.m. Fired off on SPY. Take 2 minutes to set up the trade and go about your life knowing that we have one of the most powerful market forces working for us. Maybe you're running errands, maybe you're hanging out with the kids or grandkids, and sure enough, that one worked out just like all the others. 257 bucks right there. Remember, we don't just get one opportunity a day on this. Sometimes we get three or more. Like the very next day in August, let's say put $2,000 at risk this time. First one would have received 9:34 a.m. 600 bucks right there on a $2,000 risk. Next one, 12:50 p.m. 516 bucks on a $2,000 risk. And the third one, 3:40 p.m. closed out the next day, 667 bucks with a $2,000 risk. Another 1,700 bucks on those three opportunities in one day. Everything from the entry, the exit, all full automatically given to you. Of course, you can't really expect three in one day every time. All right. That's not going to happen. And in fact, it's kind of rare that we have three winners in a row in one day. But I hope you can see how hands-off CashBot makes this new way to target high frequency income. Step one, you get the alert sent straight to you. Includes everything you need to know. The ticker, the options that we're going to trade right there. It's a credit spread, always with puts, always a net credit. We're going to close for 50% of the net credit right there. We know the risk. We know the return on risk. And if you want to do $1,000 risk, it tells you how many contracts to trade right there. From there, you just let it ride. I hope you can see how powerful this new type of trade is. Now, not only we flipped a trader's biggest pain point and turned it into a potential hidden gold mine, reducing the risk and maximizing profits, but even more impressive is the fact that the data shows that if you had taken all these trades, you could have won 84% of the time on over 300 of these trades, each one targeting right around 250 bucks when you risk $1,000, including some incredible profits when the stock market was falling slightly against us. All you need to know is when to place the trade to take advantage of this time decay sweet spot. And even though CashBot is programmed to handle all that for you, I can walk you through everything you need to know. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you live, everybody's welcome to get started today. I recorded a step-by-step workshop that shows you how to get in each trade. It includes the full details on how to place the trades to get this thing working for you, including how to automate and exit for maximum gain. I'm also going to teach you the entry criteria in the masterclass that I've used to up the win rate to 84%, giving us peace of mind when we place these trades, knowing that they tend to work out 8 out of every 10 times. Once you get your hands on this step-by-step workshop, you'll be stunned at how clear-cut it really is. You'll immediately be able to start using CashBot as soon as the next alert if you want to, with up to 3 opportunities per day. After hitting a few buttons, you could have this thing locked and loaded working for you right after the next alert fires off. Like I did recently in September, I took this alert right here on SPY. Then another one on QQQ and another one on IWM. It took me about 30 seconds to get in each one of those trades, and sure enough, all three closed out the very next morning when the market opened. 428 bucks on the first one, 475 bucks on the second one, and 400 bucks on the third one. And then we had the opportunity to get two more the very next day with IWM and SPY and let the trade go to work. First one 110, second one 250. Imagine that. You're sitting there enjoying your coffee, maybe your Monster if you're like me, and a few $100 hits the account hands-free. Of course, any brokerage account can get the job done. If you have a self-managed 401k or IRA, that works as well. If you want to get this thing going in your own account and see with your own eyes, I have a step-by-step workshop recorded for you, showing you how you can target 250 bucks by the next day, the next time one of these alerts fires off. And remember, once the trade's set up, you're kind of done. You can walk away. You can get started today by subscribing to my brand new high-frequency income algorithm called CashBot. Got real creative on the name. CashBot's the only fully automated algorithm that I know of that helps you target these high-frequency income opportunities by strategically using time decay to our advantage, automatically generating alerts with all the details you need to trade on the go. I'm happy to verify after analyzing over 300 of these high-frequency income opportunities, the final study shows this can be small account friendly. You can risk right around $1,000 and earn about 250 bucks on the average trade. You can do it smaller, you can do it bigger. 84% success rate so far. Now, if you take one of the limited time membership slots I have available today for a New Year's special, here's how it's going to work. Every day, you're going to get up to 3 of these, maybe more, on SPY, QQQ, and IWM. I'll be right there in the trenches with you, taking as many of these with my own money as I possibly can. That's over 300%. 300 high frequency income opportunities each and every year, each one based on the same method that the study shows targets right around $250 on average, up to 3 times a day. You'll immediately feel the alert if you set up the alerts to come to your phone. Maybe you'll get them on the computer if you set them up to come to the computer, and you'll get the ticker. It's going to be SPY, QQQ, or IWM. You're going to get the option trade, literally taking 30 seconds or so once you've got the practice down a little bit. You get the close target. You can put the exit on right after you get the fill, 50% of the credit, and you'll know your return on risk if you get filled at these numbers. From there, the trade potentially closes out automatically as soon as the profit targets hit. $250 on that trade right there. Of course, I set this up to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, get the alert. 2, take action. 3, wait for the results. You can opt in to receive these alerts via Telegram or Discord. You take your preferred method. And remember, actually taking these trades takes about 3 clicks in a brokerage account. Even if you're brand new, a little bit of paper trading, a little bit of practice, you can become a pro in no time. You just need a regular brokerage account, internet connection, a few minutes to set up the trade when one fires off. CashBot Automatic Trade Tracker logs these automatically. I've got this thing set up so it logs into my Google account, puts all the information right onto a tracker spreadsheet. I also have a masterclass recorded waiting for you. You can go watch that as soon as we're done here. But that's not all. I have a 24/7 trade room in Discord. If you want to talk to other traders, get more commentary on what's working, what's not working, come join Discord and talk to the crew. I've got a family of like-minded traders. They're 24/7. I may not be there 24/7. I might be asleep, but there are other traders there just about all the time. And they'll answer your questions just as well as I will. There's no better feeling, though, than celebrating giant wins with all your fellow traders. Like on September 2nd, CashBot would have hit your alert 9:30 in the morning, another one at 10:02, another one at 2:52. And anybody that would have taken all 3 of those alerts that day could have noticed about $1,400 automatically deposited right in your account as the trades closed out. Now, let's say somebody was twice as confident and wanted to double the starting stake, $2,000 risk on each trade. That could have been $2,800 from one day of CashBot alerts. And after just 3 trades, and with a membership, you're going to get over 300 of these per year. That's $2,800 that would have been more than fair to charge for the membership, right? And that's just one day of trades. So in fact, for people missing out on the special deal that I'm about to open up right here for New Year's, it's probably going to run you more than that. If you go to the membership, if you go to the main website that Publisher Nate has up there and try to get a membership, it's going to be like $3,000 a year. But for those joining today, I've got a big surprise. Slash this thing way down. So to ring in the new year, I'm going to stack the biggest discount I've ever offered right here. Because you're here today, we're not going to charge you $29.95. I'm going to give you an opportunity to start taking these trades for a whopping 97% off the typical out-of-pocket cost to get into CashBot. That's right. I have a special deal. I'm going to offer you 30 days of access for just $99. So that's 97% off the normal out-of-pocket cost to get into CashBot. But I have to warn you, this deal expires soon. So if you're ready to experience the automated income system that is CashBot, using a strategy that's paid out 8 out of every 10 times, lock in your CashBot membership and secure your spot at 97% off the retail price. Get ready to click the link, 321. There, Blake's got it in the chat. Only $99 out of pocket for 30 days of access right here today. It's a CashBot blowout sale right for New Year's. 904-706-3537. Click that link, jeffreytrader.com/cashbot. If you type it in, make sure you spell my name right. Only one E in Jeffrey. Or give me a call, or give my team a call, 904-706-3537. Lock in your chance. This is going to be one of the last times we offer this deal this year. $99, instant access, right there, 97% off the normal out-of-pocket cost to get involved in CashBot. And some of you guys have made a killing on these opportunities. Look at some of these. Like Laura right here, did 14 contracts. Boom, right there. First one she did, profit. Paul right here, 5 contracts, 50% profit under 4 hours. Jacob S. knocking out 2 in one day. He was in the chat earlier. He's the one knocking out big trades on NASDAQ. Nancy here, 60% on 8 contracts. Donald here cleaning up over and over. Sledge, my man, cleans up over and over and over right there. And David S. right there. Look at that, $60,000, working it up to 112. Beautiful. Sledge again coming in right here. $15,000 in the last 2 weeks. Rob, $5,000. Rod T, 15 grand in the past week. Jan, $1,000 a day. That's hardly a newbie if you're making $1,000 a day. Raymond, 1,900 bucks. Robert T, another successful trade that once again covered the entire cost of lifetime membership. Look at that. Covered the entire cost of the lifetime membership. Speaking of which, you're probably wondering if there's a lifetime option, right? Like I'm offering you 99 bucks for 30 days, but what if you wanted to join for longer? And the answer is yes, you can upgrade. I'm going to give you a chance to upgrade. After you take that 99 buck deal, don't close the next page. On that page, you're going to get a unique offer to upgrade to lifetime with no renewal fees ever again, as long as my system lasts, which hopefully is forever, and legacy access, where once you're done making the money, you can pass it off to a friend or family member for free. But I got to warn you, we're not going to be running this discounted lifetime price forever. So get yours today while it's still here. 99 bucks for instant access for 30 days right here today, 97% off the normal out-of-pocket cost. And I remind you, this insane deal is going to expire without notice right after the new year. I want new members to get onboarded, up and running in no time. So if my customer support team gets overwhelmed, we're going to shut this baby off. First come, first serve, right here, 99 bucks for New Year's blowout. Last time we're offering this price this year. What's the next trade going to look like? Only the new members are going to know. And while I can never promise future gains, look at how consistent these have been. For example, look at what would have happened during March. March, we were kind of chopping and dropping, right? But with CashBot, different story. Monday, March 17th, 175 bucks. Tuesday, 235 bucks. Wednesday, 211 bucks. Thursday, 3 trades, 461 bucks. And Friday, another 2 trades, 650 bucks. All in all, that could have been 1,900 bucks in high frequency income in that week of March while the market was chopping around. So don't miss out. Only 99 bucks out of pocket for 1 month of access right here today. If there's one thing I want you to remember from today's class, it's this. If you're buying options like a lot of traders do, time decay is a worst nightmare. But thanks to CashBot working for us, we flip this around and make it work in our favor. Meaning the market can go up, stay flat, or even go slightly against us, and we can still pull this baby out for a win. You just need to know when the trade's ready and set up to go. And CashBot does all of this automatically. 99 bucks for instant access for 30 days right here today. CashBot blowout sale. Last time we're offering this year. Now let's cover some FAQs and we can dive in the chat. How much money do you need? Minimum size, 100 bucks. Right there. That's about all you need. Do you need to download anything? Not really. Discord, Telegram, or where you get the alerts. Either one can run on a web browser, so there's no real installation needed. Now, both of them have an app you can install if you want to, but you don't have to. Do you need $25,000? No, this is not day trading. 15% of the trades I've done have been day trades. That leaves 85% of them typically last overnight. So I haven't run into a situation where I needed to close more than 3 a week, but could happen, and you can spread that around or use a cash account. It's your choice. Hopefully, in another month or two, we won't have to worry about this $25,000 thing anymore when they do away with pattern day trader rules. Now, people want to know, do I trade these with my own money? Yeah. I usually wait a little while, and sometimes I miss them, but I try to get in and get my money too. So I let you get first crack, and then I certainly go after them too. Do you need to sit in front of the computer to do this? No, CashBot does all the heavy lifting for you. You get all the alerts sent right to you. Can you trade in an IRA or 401k? Yeah. As long as you have the ability to self-manage those accounts, you just need to be able to do a credit spread, and you can do these trades. What if you have other questions about how to get this going? Well, we have US-based customer support. I have a team that goes live every single day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern to help you get set up. If for some reason you're not absolutely thrilled, you can't get the team to help you, you got 14 days to call the team up. And if the rare chance we can't help you, we'll give you your money back. No questions asked. What are the tickers we trade? SPY, QQQ, and IWM. Those are the 3 major indexes that have options that expire every day the market's open. Right there. That allows us to target high frequency income opportunities. Now, another question is, do I need to be an advanced trader? No. I do recommend you paper trade this, even if you are an advanced trader. Paper trade, paper trade, paper trade, paper trade. Practice this new kind of trade. It's a little bit different, a little bit, few nuances into it that maybe you haven't thought of before. And once you get the hang of it, though, once you have, 10, 20, 30 of these in your books, you can go live, start small, 1 contract, get the feel for it, and then scale up from there. Can I recap everything you get? Absolutely. You get the CashBot trading software alerts. You get the step-by-step videos talking about how to place your first trade. You get the elite training series. I have master classes recorded. I have options training classes recorded. All of that waiting for you in the members area. I have an automatic trade logger. Like I said, CashBot automatically logs into my Google account, logs those trades into a spreadsheet. I give you access to that. You get US-based customer support team every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. I have Cam and Gustavo on Zoom. Go to prosperitypub.com/help. They will help you get set up. Plus, we have a live webinar discount at 97% off the regular retail price, $99 to get started today with 1 month access to CashBot. Any questions in the chat? Let me know. Does the masterclass explain? There's no app to install. So there's no app. CashBot runs and fires off in Discord and Telegram. Both of those are accessible through a web browser. There's no app to install. You don't run it yourself. It runs on my system. There's nothing to install. There's nothing to run. You just have to have the software to get the alerts. Any other question? All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Blake, I'll leave it with you, my man. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you again next year.
I think Jeffrey's out of here. Sorry about that. Does anybody have any last minute questions? Does the masterclass explain how to install? Yeah, Jeffrey has a really good masterclass in there for you guys that you should definitely go check out. And Jeffrey, I'll take the screen back from you. Thanks for being here, folks, on New Year's Eve. And just to reiterate, guys, if you go to that link in the chat that I posted, you will find that this is an amazing deal right now. To be quite frank with you, I did not realize how good of a deal it was. This is a bargain, guys. We can, I'm going to take the screen back there. And so if we look here, guys, it's $99 for just a month to get started with this. So you can start January off with a bang. How much is lifetime access? That's a good question. Give me just one moment here. I'll pull it up. Let's see what we got here. So if we're doing, so we do 1 month, that's the $99. And then, so you would want to do the VIP. So you do the 1 month for $99, you do the 1 year for $1,095, and then you would upgrade to VIP from there, I believe. So all in VIP, you're looking at $25.94. I think that's right. Yes. But guys, this offer, it expires 12/4 at 3 a.m. So basically, well, no, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly when this offer expires that you're looking at. It could be tomorrow. That was a little old, outdated information there on the slide. But this is available for you guys right now for just $99 to get started. You get access to the Discord. You'll get access to one-click trading. We have live customer service that can help you. Jeffrey has live trade rooms in there. You can start and join a community of traders. So for $99, I think I'd be jumping all over this, guys. Just a couple of these trades, you could pay for that membership. So Joanne, yes, you can. As long as you feel comfortable like giving them your account information, you can. It's also willable as well. So let's say, for example, that you know, if you do lifetime, right? And then you want to give it to somebody, you can. Other than that, you just have to share your login. And the other issue is I could see with this is a lot of the alerts are on Discord. They're also on Telegram. So you'd have to also, whoever you give it to would have to have access to your Discord as well, which is not hard to set up, really. It's not. Super easy to do. There might not have been a trade today, Patricia. Let me check. Looking right now. Gotta find his Discord. Okay. Yeah, so there hasn't been an alert today. I really had to double check that because I was like, I don't know. The last alert was yesterday at 1:30. So what is the price for 1 year after the 30 days? Let me pull that back up. I still have it on my screen here. So for 1 year, it's $1,095. So that it's going to offer you that after you do the 30 days. So you're going to sign up for the $99 for 30 days. It's going to offer you 1 year for $1,095. Any other questions? But when do the trades typically come out? Sorry, Patricia, I totally missed that. So the trades can come out at any time. It's an algorithm that's constantly running that's tied to like a backend webhook that shoots out an API whenever there's like the conditions are met. I've kind of looked into that stuff. It's really cool how you can set it up, but it takes some time and it's tedious to do. But once you get those webhooks set up, the trade alerts just spit themselves out. So, any other questions? So yeah, it's just kind of throughout the day. That's why you have to keep your Telegram and your Discord notifications on so you get the bzz, bzz to your phone and then you'll know. You would have two different accounts, I'm sure, so that would be pretty easy to do. You know, if you're sharing it with like your daughter or something, and she logs into the Discord and takes the trade on her brokerage account, that'd be a good way to differentiate, because it's not going to be on yours, right? Unless they have access to your brokerage account, which then I have some questions. But hey, to each their own. My wife has access to mine, so, but she's not going to do anything without talking to me first. Blackwall. Okay. You could give us a call. That's the only thing I can say to that. The number's on the screen right there, that 904-706-3537. I would just give us a ring, let them know you're on the offer today. Maybe they can cut you down. I don't know, though. And just be aware the team is taking off early today. It's an early release for us at New Year's Eve. So, going to have to be prepared for that. What other questions do you guys have? And you're welcome, Joanne.